Hello, welcome to Trading Photos. This is CY Entertainment Tonight, and I am your host, Paola Palacios. Today we have Warren Bob with us today. How are you?
Very good, Paola. Thanks for having me.
Of course. So, Warren is an actor. You have probably seen him in Orange is the New Black, Gotham, Patty Cakes, and Limitless.
Yes.
I mean, among many others. So, tell us about your background. How did all this start?
Oh gosh, it's a long story. I started out years ago in my early 20s doing some modeling work, and I was much thinner and better looking than I am now, and just got into doing some modeling and shot a couple of small commercials and just got out of business. I wasn't ready to do it. Then about 10 years ago, 12 years ago, a friend of mine was working for a production company, small independent production company in City Island, and said he was working on a project and one of the characters reminded him of me, and he asked me to come in for an audition. So I went in for the audition, and here I am. So it's been a long road. It has not been, it's never easy, if you work hard in what you're doing, but I enjoy it, and I don't consider it a job. I consider it who I am as an actor. So
It's what you love to do.
I love to do it. Yeah, it's what I love to do. It really.
And then you said that you started with student films.
Yes, I
Right?
started out, when I first started, when I made a decision to go into this, I said, I'm going to give myself a year and see if I want to do it, and B, can I do it? Because there's a lot that goes into acting. It's not just memorizing lines. And so my first year, I did about 25 student films in the first year. And I thought I was like, oh, this is great, this is so easy, but student films are not. It's just basically for the student to get his film out there and show his camera skills. The actor, as long as you can pronounce vowels, you're going to get booked. So I thought it was so easy. It turns out it's not. And then after that, I said, okay, now I'm going to start going into doing some background work, getting on set, working with established actors with studios, and watch them how they work.
Okay.
The most important trait you can have as an actor, the most important thing you need to know is not so much your mouth, not so much your eyes, it's your ears. Listen to what's going on. It's the most important thing as an actor because you learn a lot. If you just shut up and listen, you'll learn a lot more than anything else. So I did that for about 6-7 months. I did some background work in some local New York shows like Law and Order and Kings and a couple other shows. And then I started submitting to other things and going on. At that time, that's when the internet started coming into fold. When you had the breakdowns. Breakdowns are when they put out the auditions for the movies or the television shows or whatever you're doing. And I started getting into that and learning about it, because back in those days when I first started, you used to have to walk around going door to door with your headshot and resume. And now everything's digital.
Exactly.
Now it's all through the computers now, which makes it a lot easier for actors. And then I just booked a web series, and I got lucky that I said 2 words on it, and it wound up being a SAG project, which I didn't even know about, and then I became SAG.
What were the 2 words?
You're fired.
You're fired.
It was a small web series. I worked with someone on a student film about a year earlier, and the guy remembered me and called me up and offered me the job to come back. I never even knew it was a SAG show. And like I said, did
You
it.
got lucky.
And I got very lucky. I was very fortunate. And I made goals for myself. I said within a certain amount of time, I wanted to have a website, a reel, functioning reel, and I wanted to have be SAG, be in the union when I thought the time was right. Because too many actors, I think, early on, they want to get in the union right away, and you don't need to do that right away. Because what happens is, as you go up the ladder, and if you're going to book, say something for union, you want to become SAG, which is the union. The world gets smaller. Where if you're non-union, there's a lot of non-union working out there, and I recommend that any actor, if you're out there, is that you should do as much non-union work as you can in the beginning to learn.
Okay.
Find out things about yourself as an actor, what you can and cannot do, what your strong points are, what your weak points are, what we need to work on. And you can do that by doing a lot of non-union work, because there's still non-union shows out there.
So is there a reason why they don't let you do that work when you're
union?
Yeah.
No, because you're union, it's a different pay scale. It's a completely different pay scale. It's a whole different world.
No wonder.
It's very much different.
Okay.
I mean, it's good for when you're first starting out, but there are TV shows out there. I mean, my own personal opinion, should be more union stuff, but they can't afford to do it.
Okay.
I guess. So that's when it comes down to the network decides I want to go non-union and as opposed to union. So it's just a different pay scale. It's a whole bunch, a lot of things just fall into place differently when you're a union show to a non-union show.
Got it. Okay.
So.
And then you started, like when you were doing the non-union stuff, you mentioned that you did not take any acting classes, right?
No, I started taking acting classes a couple of years after I started doing background work. I decided, you know what, I'm going to give this a shot.
Okay.
And so then I started going to school. I did an off-Broadway show called Marry, F, or Kill, based on the game show. It was a comedy, and it did very, very well. And then I realized it's okay, I really do enjoy this, and I want to do it. Because that was my first stage experience.
Okay.
So I then went to Terry Schreiber Studios in New York City, and I went there, and I was there for about almost a year, taking classes on and off, in and out, doing different things and auditioning. And then I found an agent through working again on a student film. Someone recommended me to their agent.
Okay.
I went to them, and I started with a small agency. They got me going, and then I started, going in for regular auditions for regular network stuff and films and commercials and theater.
Okay. And what's the difference between the theater and being in front of the camera? I know that it's different.
It's two different animals completely. In film and television, you can, as you know, and most people know, that you get, up to 10 takes to do a scene. And whereas you're doing an acting, when you're on stage live, that is your take.
Okay.
You get one take. But there's a lot of rehearsal that goes into it. It's much harder being a stage actor than a television and film actor. Because I can get, especially on television, sometimes you're getting a new script that morning, and they give you an adjustment, and they'll say, okay, we're going to cancel the scene. We rewrote the scene. We're going to do this. Mm-hmm. And then you're sitting in your trailer and you're reading over your scene. You have to memorize that scene and get back into the scene. And then you go and you do it. Now, obviously, you're going to make mistakes. All actors make mistakes. And they know that. So they'll give you some time. So you'll have extra takes to do it. But when you're doing theater, you have one take when you're live. All your other takes is your rehearsal process, which is why most shows can go anywhere between 6 weeks to 3 months of rehearsal, depending how big the show is. Mm. So those are your takes, your practices, your rehearsals, and that's everything that goes in effect. And then when you're live, every show you do live is different. Like when I do, I've done some off-Broadway shows, and I have one coming up, which we'll talk about later, I hope. And every show is different. When you're working with somebody, we're people. We are actors, but we're people first. And sometimes you could be in a bad mood or a good mood and vice versa. And you have to pick up on as an actor. That's what I said before, it's important to listen. So if my scene partner that I'm doing this scene with, maybe do something different. Every show you go see, if you go to see a Broadway show, the same show, all week long, every night you see it, you'll see something different about it. It's never the same. It's never the same show. I mean, that the premise of the show, the story obviously is the same, the songs, the dance, whatever, but the mood swings of the show are different. The arcs and different, they're always different. So that's the challenge as being a stage actor, and it's much easier to go, my opinion, to go from stage to film and television than it is from film and television to stage. Because in film and television, as we are here right now, we're mic'd, so I can talk to you like this, and I can hear you, and now the audience can hear me. But when you're on stage, you have to be louder.
Exactly.
And more exuberant, and you have to be more, push the words more. So it's different animal. But I love both.
You love both?
Yeah.
You've done a lot of things in both as well.
Yeah, I've been pretty busy. I've been fortunate, been blessed, lucky, whatever you want to say, to be where I am. So I'm very happy.
So tell us about your next projects. So you do have a few coming up.
Yes, I have a film that's going to start filming next month in July. It's called The Fifth Borough. We did a pilot of it about a year ago, and it got picked up, and it's going to be starting again in July. It's so far what I know it's Tara Reid, Kathy Moriarty, I know I'm forgetting other people on it. Vincent Young, Steve Stanoulis, and a bunch of other people on it also. It's really good. It's a show about the Fifth Borough, which is Staten Island.
Okay.
And it shows the trials and tribulations of that. I play a Russian mobster.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I don't want to give away too much of it, but I play a Russian mobster, and there's a little bit of conflict and like a turf war, so to speak, going on. And it just shows different things about the Fifth Borough, which is Staten Island, and the way the life is in Staten Island. It's a really, really good piece. I really enjoy it.
Nice.
Yeah.
Is there a favorite character that you like to play? Like that
Well,
you would love to play?
I mean, what I mostly get cast as an actor, you have to know your strong points.
Okay.
And my strong points, for whatever reason, and listen, I'm from New York.
Mm-hmm.
I sound like I'm from New York. I'm sure you all know, you can see I'm from New York. But you have to know your strengths, like I said. And my strengths is what gets me in the door is being, say, like a tough guy or a figure of authority, like a cop.
Okay.
Or a lawyer or something like that, or a military guy, which I've played. And that gets you in the door. But there's more, as an actor, you have to feel there's more to you than just that. But you have to use your strong points to get yourself in the door. And now I've broadened my horizons now. And especially as a stage actor, how many mobsters and tough guys are there in the stage? It's about the story, whether you're the father, you're the son, whatever you are. So that's why, another reason why I gravitate towards stage more, because it enables me to stretch my legs, so to speak, as an actor. And that's why, that's why I love the stage.
Okay. And the other projects that you do have coming up?
I have supposedly now it's in talking. It's called The Point.
The Point.
It was a pilot I shot a couple of years back as well, and it's being pitched to a network, which I cannot say at this time. But it looks very good. It's going to be starting up and probably, hopefully in, I think, September.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'll be hopefully down in Atlanta. That's where,
nice.
Yeah, most of it will be down there. Some will be up here, some will be down in Atlanta. So I'm looking forward to that. It's and there again, I do play a mobster. I knew you'd ask me what I play. I play a mobster in that one. It's fun. It's a lot. I have fun with those roles because they're just growing up in New York City. When I was a kid, I used to hang out with people like that. So it's easy for me to be those people.
To
so to
imitate
speak.
them.
Yeah, because you become a product of your own environment. I always say that. So
True.
so.
Okay. And what about Good and Screwed?
Good and Screwed is a really good pilot that was shot just about a year ago. It was with a dear friend of mine, Joanna Bonaro, and has myself, Joanna Bonaro, who's from The Sopranos, Law and Order, Bobby Finaro, Armin Garrow. They were in Vinyl. So they're friends of mine also. I've worked with them before, and it's about a 40-something woman, divorcee. She just gets divorced from her husband, which is Vincent Pastore.
Okay.
It was also on The Sopranos. And it just shows what life is like for New York City divorcee women. Mm-hmm. And it's really good. I think it's really, really good. What's going on in the world today with with the women's movement and stuff, I think is great. And it's a great time for this piece to come out. Nice. And I play in that series, I play a priest.
Oh, nice.
Yes, and I'm also I don't want to give too much away, but we grew up together as kids. We went to high school together. And so I went obviously in a different direction than she did, becoming a priest, and she got married and had kids. And it just shows all the trials and tribulations of a divorcee in New York. It's really good. It's a lot of fun. It was aired over in Latvia. So we're television stars in Latvia, from what I understand. That's what they're telling me. And I did very well. And it's still in festivals around here right now, but it's very close to being picked up by a network, from what I understand. Very close.
Oh, nice. That's great.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then we have another one, Lost Cat Corona.
Lost Cat Corona was a lot of fun. It was a film I did 2 years ago, with Ralph Macchio, who a lot of you may know from the Karate Kid, the original Karate Kid.
Yes, of
right.
course.
And so he was a lot of fun to work with. I had a small role in that, co-star role in that, very, very small, but it was a lot of fun to work with. It did very well. It's in distribution now. It's out on all the on-demand stuffs, and it's been on HBO, I believe, and Amazon, Hulu, all of that stuff.
Oh, nice.
So, yeah, it was a lot of fun to do. Ralph's a great guy. He's still a good friend of mine today. We talk every once in a while. He's a good guy.
Okay. You have a project coming up, Harry Townsend's Last Stand.
Yes.
So tell us about that project.
That's a play. It's a play. It's something I've been working on for just over a year now, about a year and a half. The producer is Dennis Grimaldi. He's a big Broadway guy. He's won 3 Tony Awards, 2 Pulitzer Prize Awards, and he's producing this play called Harry Townsend's Last Stand. It's starring Len Cariou, who is a Broadway legend. Len, as most people know, if you guys watch TV, he's on Blue Bloods now with Tom Selleck. And he was the original Sweeney Todd on Broadway back in the 70s. He's won Tony Awards, he's won Emmy Awards, he's nominated, he's a legend. And working with him is just an amazing, amazing experience. And myself and Len have been working together, collaborating together on it for about a year. I've been working on it for about a year and a half. I first got the script about a year and a half ago. Okay. And when I first read it, I didn't really like it too much. It was very different. The writer was a man by the name of George Eastman. He lives up in the New England area. And it was written, he wrote the play 40 years ago. And it just sat on the shelf. It was revised about 5 years ago in LA, different version of it than what we're doing now. And then Mr. Grimaldi got a hold of it, and he introduced it to me. And like I said, when I first read it, it was very slow. It was very elongated, long-winded, so to speak. And he worked on it with the author George Eastman, and we did a couple of readings in New York City, and it went very, very well. And right now, it's in the funding process right now, and it's going forward. And they're booking a theater. I think sometime in the next week or two, we'll know.
Nice.
And it's being directed by Peter Scolari. Peter Scolari is best well known for being opposite Tom Hanks in Bosom Buddies back in the 80s and 90s. And then he did the Bob Newhart show, and Peter's a very accomplished actor, and he's directing this version of it. And Peter's excellent. He's very good with comedy because it's dramatic comedy, and Peter really helps with the comedy part. I mean, he helps with both parts, but he's really pushing me on the comedy part because it's a story of an elderly father, Len Cariou, and I'm his son. It's me and Len on the stage the entire time. It's what they call a two-hander. It's two people. We stay on the stage the entire time. And we have this bickering back and forth, and he's in the later stages of his life, living up in New England, living up in New England. And I'm trying to talk him out of staying by himself, because he really can't live by himself anymore. He's getting at that stage of his life. And obviously he doesn't want to give up his independence, like any adult does not want to give up their independence. And so that's basically what the story's about. I don't want to get into it and ruin it for everybody, because I want you all to go see it when it comes out. But yeah, he's amazing to work with. He does things to you as an actor that you didn't know you could do. He makes you do things, and just listening to him and like I said before, always listening.
Yeah.
When you listen to somebody, instead of just worrying about your lines, it just puts you in a different, mindset as a character. And he does that, and he's excellent at it, and he's so effortless in doing it. Where some people try so hard to act, and the worst thing you can do as an actor is act. Don't act. Just be in the moment. Be yourself. Because a little bit of every character that you do, there has to be some of you in it. You can't just be, a character.
Completely different.
Yeah. I mean, yes, you are going to be a little bit different. Like if I play a killer, I've never killed nobody.
Oh, yeah.
I have not killed nobody. But you haven't killed, yeah, I've told the camera, I haven't killed nobody. But also you have to think like a killer would think. But still within who you are, so to speak. I don't know if that makes really a lot of sense.
It does.
Some people may get confused by that. But getting back to Len, he's amazing. Matter of fact, I was in Chicago last weekend with him. He's on tour with his own little one-man show. Not little, but it's a big one-man show called Broadway and the Bard, and he's traveling all over. He did Chicago. He's in LA right now.
Oh, nice.
And he invited me out to come see the show. I went out last week to see him. And, we were talking some business and having a good time, and, his show's very, very good. I think it's coming back to New York, so if people are out there, look for Len Cariou on Broadway and the Bard. I think it's coming to New York maybe in late summer. It's really good. But working with Len, working with Dennis Grimaldi, Peter Scolari, George Eastman, I mean, they're excellent. And they're so giving, and they give you a lot of leeway as an actor. And as an actor, you really love that. And it's very well respected. I respect him for that.
It's great that you're working with him, and you're working around so many talented individuals.
Oh yeah, I've been blessed, lucky with directors and actors, and I've been very, very lucky.
So you mentioned about the techniques that you use for acting.
Right.
So tell me now, is there something that you do before camera to help you act better, to get into character? Yeah,
sure. It depends on the type of character you're playing.
Okay.
And there's different methods and different techniques that you use as an actor. It's not, acting is not one technique. There's so many different things. There's Meisner, Stanislavski, Strasberg. There's all different kinds of acting techniques that you learn in the school, which I've learned at Terry Schreiber, HP Studios, when I've taking classes there. Depending on the character you are, and if it's a dramatic role, if you have to be a happy role, if it's a singing role, I do sing a little bit, and if you're angry, if you're, like I said, if you're sad, like I said before. So if I'm in a situation, I did a film many years ago called Man in a Box. It was done down in Pennsylvania. I did it in Scranton, Wilkes-Barre, and I played a killer. And there was a scene I was doing where I was getting ready to kill, towards the end of the movie, I was getting ready to kill two of the characters that robbed me. And one of them happened to be a really good friend of mine. And so it was a very intense scene. And I had to tell the story, and they were tied up in chairs, and I was walking around them like a shark circling the waters. And I was telling the story and blah, blah, blah. And it was just very intense. And I had to put myself in an intense situation. So when I did it once. We did what's called a camera rehearsal.
Okay.
Which, some people might not know is you do rehearsal for the cameraman to see where you're going to move, lighting, sound, etc. Because they have to see where you're moving. So I did the scene, and we did a camera rehearsal first. And I did it, and I walked around. And I was so involved, so intense with it. They yelled, cut, and the actor said, he's ready, let's get him going. The assistant AD said, go wait outside. Now here I am in Pennsylvania. It's 12 o'clock at night. I'm standing outside in this rural area with a gun. It's a fake gun, prop gun. And I'm out there, and I'm walking back and forth because it's so intense. It's called method acting. That's where you really become involved and really become that person. And so I remember pacing back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And we go back inside, and he says, okay, ready, Warren? And the second AD brings me in. He's okay, let's go. And I step right on set, action, right, and did the scene. So in answer to your question, which is elongated, I'm sorry, but it depends on what you're doing in that particular moment.
Okay.
When you have to cry, you have to put yourself in a situation, what's going to make you. Every actor has his own little secret.
Yes. Which
they can't give away. Because if I give it away, then it's not only mine.
Okay. Well, is there a place where your fans can find you on? I mean,
yes. Yeah. If you want to go to, you can check me out. I'm on Facebook, or you go to my website. My website is just my name. It's warrenbub.com. I'm on Facebook under the same name. I'm on Instagram. I'm on Twitter. I try to answer everybody as well as I can, and I appreciate everyone's support. I'm not one of those people that looks the other way. I never turn anybody down for a photo op or anything. I love that stuff. I think it's part of the job, and without people watching you, who's gonna watch me?
So, that's true. And don't forget IMDb, of course.
Of course, IMDb. I'm on IMDb, of course. Thank you so much. You're better at this than I am. So.
Well, it was such a pleasure to have you here,
yes.
Warren.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much for coming to the show.
I appreciate it. My pleasure. Thank you.
And there you guys have it. CY Entertainment tonight. Thank you for watching.